Well, hello, and welcome back to GearHeadGeeks, where in this video we are going to be doing something slightly different. We are going to be servicing a bicycle and getting it ready for Burning Man, playa, whatever they want to call it. And my wife is going to go to Burning Man and she needs a bicycle. Her bicycle is okay. Let me roll around here. And not a bad bicycle. It's got a few speeds on it, but it needs tires that are going to be suitable for the dirt. And so we're going to put new tires on it. We're going to service up this bicycle and make it perfect. And all that being said, here's something for you, all us motorcycle people. This is something different. This is a set of tires, two tubes, and that's how they come. This should be interesting. So we are going to go on ahead. We'll get started and get this bad boy going. Stay tuned. So before you work on anything, before you go on ahead and do any servicing on anything, whether it be a bicycle, motorcycle, whatever, get it cleaned up. So in this case, before we do, what we're going to be using is some bike wash. Hey, I just so happen to have some, so I'm going to spray this on the bike and we'll give it a quick pressure wash, get it all cleaned up so it is ready to be worked on. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go on ahead and rinse off my motorcycle. So to get started on things, I have taken and put this on a motorcycle rack. And I've used a set of tie downs to tie it in place. So however you're going to be getting your bike in the air, sometimes you just have to kind of lift up on something or whatever. I've got this thing hanging from a hoist and it can be a little wobbly, but it's okay. So what we're going to do here is we are going to start with, now that we've got everything all cleaned up, we need to get going on the tires. And that way I can do all the rest of the service, but I do want to get the tires on here first. So this is going to be interesting. So let's take a look at this. And again, this is how the tires come. This has got 2 tires in it, 2 tubes, and supposedly some little tire spoons, little plastic tire spoons. So we're going to figure this whole thing out. Having been a motorcycle mechanic for a dozen years, I have changed literally hundreds of tires, and I've done a few bicycle tires over the years, but I've never done anything like this. I've never seen anything like this, to be honest with you. So this is going to be fairly interesting. So let me, we'll pop this open, and maybe we have to take it outside and let it sit in the sun so the tires get their shape. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, I've got an X-Acto knife here, and I'm going to be very, very careful how I do this so I don't puncture anything. Get this stuff off. If you've done this before, don't laugh at me. I think these are pretty cool tires, actually. So now we've got these straps. Well, I found that sometimes when you get these straps, you can flip them over and peel them back. Yep. So I just kind of see if I can do it here. Almost. Yep. Okay, that came loose. Okay, so here's a tire. Okay, there's a tube. Here's a tube. And I don't think this set came with any little tire spoon thingies. That sucks. Oh well. That's all right. We don't really need them. All right, so we got this. Camera's aimed right. We'll get this one off. And here we go. Let's unfold this bad boy. See all this? All right, so here we go. So it looks like to me, after all this folding, that the thing to do here is probably I'm gonna take these tires outside and let them sit in the sun for a bit so they can get their shape back, or whatever they're supposed to be. A couple of things in there, and we may have to take the inner tubes and inflate it and put it in there, but it's turning into a tire. So let's do another one. It's interesting. And again, we can do the same thing with our little straps here. And even though we're not ready for the front at the moment, we got cool little lettering on it. Okay, I'm going to take these guys outside and we'll let them cook for a bit. And it is a really nice day outside, so I've got the tires out there cooking. We'll take a look at these tubes. Again, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get the little plastic thingies, but that's okay. And take a look at our tubes. Take a look at our tubes here. And they just got regular Schrader valves in them, because that's what I ordered. And what we're going to do with these is I'm going to take, and let's get the camera pointing down here where we can look at them. I'm going to take a regular air inflator, and I'm just going to inflate them so they get to their proper shape. I'm not going to overinflate them. We're not having to worry about leaks or anything like that, hopefully. And we'll go on ahead. I've got a tire inflator here, and we're just going to go on ahead and just give it a little bit of air, just enough so these guys take their shape, and that's just about it. That's it. That's all we want. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. Have it get it to take shape. It's pretty cool packaging when you think about it. I mean, motorcycle tires are big and bulky and stiff and whatever. These guys are. And this was about $50 worth, I guess, for the both of these, which isn't bad. Okay, we'll put the little caps on them so we don't lose them. Okay, these guys have got their shape. That's fine. So, the next thing to do here is I'm going to put these aside, and then we'll get the wheel off of this and dismount the tire. Okay, so again, I'm not a bicycle mechanic, but we can figure this out pretty easily. Tire is flat because that's one of the problems that was here. So let's go on ahead and let's make sure that you can see. All right, so we just I guess you just pop this thing loose. Okay, and now we're loose. And the tire can now slide out. And I guess we just take off the chain by pulling this off to the side. And we're done. Which is pretty simple. Right, we got to get that by that. And don't want anything bad to happen there. And that's super easy. Really, really easy. Okay, so this bike is basically new. It doesn't have that many miles. It's just been hanging in the garage for a long time. So, and we do need to get it ready to go to Burning Man. But all of this stuff, the axles are all tight and nice. This thing is a really, really nice bicycle. I mean, really nice. The quality of it, the welds, everything is really, really well done. So we will get this ready to remove, and we'll go through that procedure. Okay, so having been a motorcycle mechanic, I have a 30-gallon bucket here, and these 30-gallon buckets are dynamite for doing wheels. And it works really, really well on this. So we got to figure out how to get this thing off without any damage whatsoever. Now you can see where the brakes are on this thing. So let's, there's no air in the tire, so we can remove the cap. And I'm going to look and see if I have something as a soft tire spoon. So we'll just take this guy here. This is just for you removing upholstery, not upholstery, but interior pieces. So we'll just take this and we'll just kind of run it around. I think we can grab a little more of it. And there's not much to this. Maybe. I say that. I think it's kind of caught on the tube. Alright, so here we go. And the tire comes off. That's pretty simple. Run this guy around. And I think what we'll do here is we will also fix the flat on this. But, alright, so that's that. Get the tube out of there. Give it out. A little water in there. And we can now pull this off. So much easier than a motorcycle. Okay, so I'll be back. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and make sure that everything is perfectly clean and whatnot, and then we're going to go on ahead and we'll get the tire and tube inside and go from there. So I have gone out, and this tire has been sitting out in the sun, and it's a little softer. It's still a little weird. So the next thing we need to do here is understand if this tire has a direction. And if you look right here, and let's see if you can see it, but right there it says rotation, and it says that way. We know our wheel goes this way, so we know our tire has to go on this way. I'm going to do something a little bit different than, than maybe a bicycle mechanic might do or whatever. I'm going to use for mounting this thing, you can, fill it up with air and fiddle around with it and see if it seats and all that good stuff. I'm going to take a product that's called tire mounting lubricant that's made for doing tires. It works on motorcycles, it works on cars, and it works on bicycles really, really well. And we're going to take that lubricant and put it on this thing, so when we put on the tire, it goes on easy, and the bead will seat really easy. So let me get ready with that, and we'll be back. Okay, so here's what I'm going to use. This is tire and tube mounting compound. It's made by Murphy's. This is a fairly large jar, but I do a lot of motorcycle tires and whatnot. And this stuff works really, really well. Normally, you use a brush. I guess we can try the brush. I don't think the brush is the right thing to use on this one. I think probably just rubbing it in with our fingers. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it on this side. Yeah, no, this isn't going to work. This tire's so flimsy that you can't really put any pressure on the brush, and that brush is. So I'm just going to take a little bit with my hand here. And this is why I put on a pair of gloves. This is a little bit flimsier than working on a motorcycle. And the tire is not it's alright, it's just a little extra weirdness here on this. Okay, and put this sitting here. Okay, so we got our stuff on there. That's okay. This will be easy enough, hopefully. And I will go on ahead. I'm going to grab our tube. Here, I'll take the cap off so I can work with it. And we're going to put this guy in the tire. Now, how do I know to do that? Because I looked at a video that said to do that by a regular bicycle mechanic. Now, the one thing you want to do though is look at the tire and see if there is an inflation guide on there, which I know there is. I've seen it. I just need to find it. Okay, if there's an inflation guide, take your tube, and like I say, this is a little strange to work with, but we'll get it. Take your tube and put the stem right where it talks about that, so that at least when you're looking on the tire, you can see how much to inflate it to. Okay, so we got our tube in. Okay, now what we need to do here is we're going to take this tire and we're going to put the stem in. Okay, and again, this is going to be a little strange for me. Never really done it this way before, but we're just going to work our way around and we'll put our tire on. I guess we can put our whole tire bead in there. And this being a foldable tire, I guess, now we're cooking. We've got it going in. I think we can bring it up like this so I can at least get a handle on this thing. And we'll just go on ahead and roll it on. Okay, one side is in. Okay, and we're good. And yes, we're just going ahead, and like I say, look how much it's sticking out here. It's just, and this rim is so tiny. So what we want to do is, somebody said that you start it from the core. Well, you don't. You don't start it from the stem. You want to end up at the stem. That way the tire can get into the center. And so what you do here is we're just going to get this guy started. Okay. And work our way around, and we'll finish up right at the stem, and the tire is on there. No pinching, no nothing. We can now put a little bit of air on this bad boy, make sure the bead is going to seat. And so far, so good. So what you want to do here is, if you look at the tire, and I'm going to get real close to the camera if I can, there's a line on all tires. And that line kind of lets you know where the edge of the tire is. And that line should be even all the way around the rim. and you do that on both sides. Now, one of the reasons this went in perfectly is because of the fact that I had put this tire mounting lubricant on there, and it makes a big difference. So our stem is perfectly straight. It moves around a little bit because there's not a lot of air in here. There's probably only about 10 pounds. But our little tire set is done. That's all there is to it. So we'll go ahead and put this back on the motorcycle now. Not motorcycle, bicycle. Sheesh. Okay, so now that we've got the rear tire mounted, what we want to do is take a quick inspection of the rest of this. Now, when I'm looking at the chain, I'm seeing there's a covering of dirt, so we'll have to deal with that in a bit. But what I want to look at is these brake pads. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you'll see little grooves in them. And those are basically there to not only clean away any dirt that comes in that goes across, but they're also wear markers. So if those grooves are gone or close to being gone, it's time to replace these pads. Again, this bicycle is fairly new, so they really don't need much of anything. But what we are going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and just clean them off a little bit, just to make sure that they're all clean and doesn't have any kind of junk on them. And I've got some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to take and just put a little bit on a rag, and we'll take that rag and I'm just going to wipe them off. And you can see there's a little bit of crud on them, but now they're both kind of cleaned off, and that's good. And we're going to do the same thing to the rim once we get it back on there. Okay, so it's now time to put this wheel back on. Our sprockets are all clean, everything is nice, our rim is clean, our new tire is mounted, but here's what we have to deal with. We're going to put this in, and number one, we need to get the chain wrapped around this, but what's going to happen here is this tire is not going to fit in between the brakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to deflate the tire first, and once we do that, then I can go on ahead, squeeze it together, and get it into place. We got a couple things that we need to do. We need to get our chain on. I've got several tools for doing this. Now, first things first, I'm going to make sure that the valve is still tight. And then I've got this other guy right here. And what I can do is I can screw him onto this, and he'll let the air out. There. Now, I don't want to get too crazy about it. I just want to be able to squeeze, so I can squeeze the tire enough. It's still kind of mounted on the rim, but I can squeeze the tire enough to get it by that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is the first thing I need to do is get the chain ready for the sprocket. So I'll pull this all the way back. Then what I'm going to do is get the chain basically aligned around this guy, and I can just go on ahead and put them on one of the gears for the moment. And now I'm going to take this and squeeze the tire enough, hopefully squeeze it enough to get it past our brakes. And that's not as successful as I hoped it would be. Let me get to the other side. Now we'll do it this way. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that past our brakes. It's kind of holding things in place. And now what we need to do is get our wheel lined up so it can go back into here. Okay, so now let's drop this down. Okay, so this is in place. Our wheel is tied up against there, and all we need to do is just turn this into the right position and clamp it down. And we are in good shape at the moment. Now, let's get some air back in the tire. Okay, so now let's make sure everything is adjusted right. Okay, this is good. Tire's good. Make sure it's all the way seated. Got to make sure it's pushed down as good as it can go. And then you just take the little clamp and you clamp it back. And we should, let's pull this up. Okay. And our chain is in the wrong position. You can hear it kind of, well, we'll run it forward and it'll go into where it needs to go. There we go. So now we have our tire is changed, it's back in place. Let's go on ahead and we'll clean off the rim a little bit. We don't want to have any tire mounting stuff on there or residual brake pad material. And isopropyl alcohol is not that tough on anything. And that's good. So now what we need to do to finish up the rear, we need to put air in it. Now, as I said before, this says you can go from 50 to 60 pounds. So 40 to 60 pounds, we're going to put 50 pounds in there. So what do we have? At the moment, we have about 16 pounds. So we need to get a lot more than that. But you have to, not like a motorcycle or a car, it fills up very, very quickly. So trying to get the camera so you can see. So we're at 25. Okay, just keep on going here. The camera, point at the right stuff. And we're about 48. I just need to go like that. And we'll be close to 50. Yep, a little more. One more time. And there's 50 pounds. Put our cap back on. And the rear is done. Okay, so now we need to remove the front wheel. So first things first, we need to get the air out of the tire because we'll never get it by actually, I think I'll use the draining feature of that. And we'll get all the air out of this guy. So we can now squeeze it and get it past that. And now to get the front wheel off, all you do is you pull this clamp and it should just pop out of there. Which direction it goes, I don't know. Oh, it goes straight down. So you may need to unscrew this a little bit. You can do it. There we go. All right, now we'll pull our wheel out that way. You lose something here? Okay, we're okay. And there's that. I will go change the tire. You've just watched me change the tire on the other one, so you don't need to see it again. I'll change this tire, and I'll be back with the installation. Okay, I am back after changing the tire, which took a lot less time than the back one because I know how to do it now. Okay, so same thing again. The first thing we need to do is go on ahead, inspect our pads, make sure they've got plenty of meat left on them. And again, we'll just take a little bit of isopropyl and give them a good cleaning. Okay, our tire has got no extra air in it, so now we should be able to get this guy basically back into place. And let's just make sure that everything is wiped off really nice in here. Part about all of this is just getting the tire back onto through the brakes, because this thing's got some knobbies on it. That's kind of cool, but there it is. And all that we need to do here is get this guy lined up, pushed into place. Now I'm going to lower this down so it's sitting on the ground, and that's pushing it all the way in there. And you screw these guys on till they're just snug. You don't want it anything else but that. And then you can take and push this. And your front wheel is tight. It's not going anywhere. Let's make sure. Maybe get another turn. And that's very tight. Okay, so now, same thing as before, 50 pounds. Let me hold this. Okay. And we'll take our tire gauge again and check. If I can do this with one hand so you can see. And we are about 42 pounds. And 50. Very good. And we just take our valve cap, put it back on. Now, what you want to do is just make sure that the line around our tire is good all the way around, and let's give it a spin. Nice and even. Rim is true. No bends in it. Doesn't need any truing. So let's just go on ahead and wipe down the rim. Okay, our tires are installed. Well, the next thing we need to do is really start the service on this motorcycle. We have gone on ahead and changed the tires, and they are all nice and beautiful, properly filled. Everything is nice. Brakes are clean, rims are clean, everything is all done. So now we need to go on and we deal with the chain, cables, and any other parts on the bike that need to be lubricated. So I'm going to start with the chain. So let me give a brief explanation. I've been a motorcycle mechanic. I was a motorcycle mechanic and did it for a living for a dozen years on factory training and a whole bunch of stuff. But the thing is that chains have evolved on motorcycles. They have not evolved on bicycles because they don't get the same kind of stretching that goes on. They are not exposed to the types of horsepower that a motorcycle will present. My particular motorcycle has 254 rear wheel horsepower, so you can imagine the kind of strain that chains go through. But I have found out one thing. Regular chain lube sucks. It flings out all over the place. It doesn't want to stay. It attracts dirt. It does all sorts of nasty stuff. And I have motorcycles I built that don't have O-ring chains, and which are very close to where a bicycle chain is. And I use a product called chain wax. This stuff right here. This is Maxima. There's a few others out there. But what wax does, it provides plenty of lubricant for the chain so that the links move along and they move along the sprockets very well. But what it does is it seals up that chain. It seals the whole thing up. It doesn't attract dirt. It doesn't fling off. It is so much better than this regular chain lube that everybody uses. And this is not me just going in and saying, oh yeah, I heard about this stuff. I have been using this stuff for years and years and years. And I've got motorcycles that have a lot of horsepower, and this chain wax just makes the chains last twice as long as regular lube. I am good about lubing my chain. I lube my chains on my motorcycles about every 500 miles, and I use chain wax, and I will get double the life out of chain wax than I do others. And it's not so much that things are stretching. What it is that this seals things up nicely, and when it seals it up, no dirt can get in there. The dirt is what's causing the wear. It gets in between the rollers and stuff like and everything, and it just starts grinding away at things. Dirt is just grinding compound. So a brief explanation. What we're going to do here is we're going to use some chain cleaner. You don't have to use chain cleaner. You can use isopropyl alcohol, gasoline, diesel fuel, whatever, to get it clean. I'm just going to use some chain cleaner on a rag, and I'm just going to go around the chain, clean it all up, get all that nasty old lubricant out of there, and we are going to reinvigorate this chain with chain wax, and it will last a long time. And the good part is you don't have to lube this thing every single time. It will last a long time. 500 miles on a motorcycle, 500 miles on a bicycle is a long ways. So let's get the chain cleaned up, and we'll get it all lubed up, and you can watch that process. Okay, so first things first, let's just take some of this stuff. It's kind of stinky, but, well, when I say stinky, it's not really stinky. Kind of a greenish whatever. It can be a little messy. And we're just going to go over this chain. Now, I'm going to go into the insides first. We'll just give it a lap, and look, already we're getting it off. Let's go on ahead, and we can pull it this way. Let's get her cleaned up. Get between the pedals and the tire. And you can see it's starting to come off pretty well. You should wear gloves with this, because, and I'll tell you why you wear gloves, is because, again, this is kind of stinky, and your hands are going to smell bad if it goes through the rag, and you're going to be smelling that stuff for the rest of the day, even if you wash it a few times. But anyway, we're going through and just hitting this chain and getting it cleaned up. And all that crud is coming off. Let me go this way. Let me get it on the chain. Do the bottom really good. And, you know, it probably just wouldn't hurt. What we'll do here, I've got a little plastic brush here, and I'm just going to take and put some of this chain cleaner on there, and I'm just going to run it so it gets into the rollers. Guess we don't want that banging around. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll just give it a good wipe. Now it's time to give it a wipe. Okay, and we're getting all that nasty, goopy lubricant on there that everybody thinks is so good, and we got most of that off. And we're going to let that dry a little bit. It only takes a few minutes. And then, and already, this thing is so much smoother. It is, I mean, you can actually feel the difference getting that ugly stuff out of there. So now that that's done, we can go on ahead, and I'm just going to put a piece of paper down. And the reason I'm doing that is just so that it doesn't get all over the stand here. So I'm going to take this chain wax, and I'm going to go to the inside of the rollers. I need to got a little buildup on it because it's wax, and it builds up a little. Okay, and we're just going to spray this chain down. Okay, so now take a little bit of this, and I'm just going to wipe down the chain. Oops, don't want to do that. I'm not used to having pedals floating around here. Okay, so this chain has got plenty of lube on it. It's got more than it needs at the moment. We're going to actually wipe off a little bit. But the good part is that this chain is completely sealed now. There's no place for dirt to get in. And all you bicyclists need to learn about chain wax. It is really, really good stuff. And think about what happens when you have a product like oil and they say, oh yeah, use something dry. Well, the problem is with something dry, yeah, it does create a small amount of lubricant, but dirt gets in. And when that dirt gets in, I don't care if it's dry lubricant or whatever, it's going to wear out the chain. What ends up happening with this, it seals it up. It seals the rollers and everything up. It lubricates them enough for them to work, but it seals them up from dirt getting in. And that is the main thing. And especially now that this thing is going to Burning Man. And Burning Man is nothing but silt. It's amazing how silty it is. It's just the finest powder that you can possibly imagine. I mean, the cars coming back, even after driving 100, 200 miles, are still blowing off dirt in the wind. It is just, the stuff just gets everywhere. So this bike has got a nicely sealed off chain now, and it is going to be much safer to use it. And anybody who thinks dry chain lube is a good thing, yeah, it is. It doesn't attract the dirt. Chain wax will get a thin coating of dirt on the outside. I mean, it just does. It's just, everything's going to have a thin coating of dirt on it, but nothing is getting past that chain wax. It just doesn't. And this thing is so smooth and nice now. It is really, really good. A clean chain with chain wax is the way to go. So the next thing I notice is the brakes. It seems that, like right now, it's kind of binding a little bit. And that's because nobody has taken and lubricated it'll unbind if I take my finger and go like this. Now it's fine. But it doesn't want to center itself very well. It's kind of locked in. And okay, I have lubricated the pivot on this side. The camera died, but I've lubricated the pivot on this side, and what I noticed is when I would spin the wheel, after I hit the brakes, that the wheel would drag. And what that was is there's a spring in here that centers your brake pads. There's a spring on this side and a spring on this side. And what was happening is this spring was a little bit too loose, and it would, this whole thing, it was a little bit too loose, and it would push this against the wheel. And that was bad news. It doesn't need to do that. So what I did is I went on ahead and I took and adjusted this screw right here so it had a little bit more pressure on it. And now after you hit the brake, it's loose. But one thing I have noticed, and everything is in perfect shape. So no matter what now, when you hit the brakes, you lock the wheel and you let it loose. And I'm just going to let it loose. And now it is perfectly centered and the wheel spins beautifully without the brakes dragging at all. And so we need... This works better here this way. I don't need to... the Loctite that's on there is pretty good. And we'll just get a little bit of lubricant behind that. And there is some heavier lubricant in there, but this will add to its strength. I'll just get a little dab in there. Let it soak in. And wobble those back and forth a bit. Okay, so now when I apply the brake, after everything's been moving around a little bit, when I apply the brake and let loose, it's dragging ever so slightly. And so we need to figure out which way that is. If I go this way, that makes it drag more. If I push back the other way, it spins freely. So what that means is this spring is just a bit loose. It needs to be tightened up ever so slightly to force it to center. So the way to do that is if you start cranking on this screw here, it's really hard to turn, but what you can do is you just pull the spring loose, and now you can feel it. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that this spring, because we're tightening it, that when we tighten this or when we move this screw, that this starts to move out. We'll be able to see that. So I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on it. And then I'm going to put a screwdriver in there. And I'm going to turn it clockwise. And let's see what it does. And the spring came out ever so slightly. And I only turned it maybe a 1/16 of a turn. Okay, let's put this back. Okay, we'll go on ahead, hit the brakes. Still dragging just a tiny bit, so let's give it one more shot. Doesn't take much. Hit the brakes, let them relax. That dragging, let me just see if I just move it just a shade. Yeah, it's better if I move it a shade. So we still haven't gone enough. One more time. So maybe I've done maybe 1/8 of a turn. Okay, hit the brakes. Now that's much, much better. No drag at all. So that's how you adjust those. We've cleaned our pads, we've cleaned our rims, we've now lubricated these joints, and the only thing left here is to make sure our cables are okay. Now we don't want our cables to be too crappy. You know, too much lube will attract dirt. It's a fine line in there what you want to do, because they've got a nylon lining in them, and you want to make sure that you don't just goop them up. These cables move extremely well. They're free, they're nice, everything is good. And I can tell you this, a motorcycle stand is not the way to do this. To do this video, I've flopped this bike back and forth so I can do a front wheel, rear wheel, because the only thing that's free at a time is the side I have lifted. But anyway, so let's go on ahead and lube up all the little joints. As a matter of fact, we're going to put a little bit of lube in each joint of the sprockets, of these idler sprockets. And again, this lube is truly very, very dry, and it does not attract dirt. It's really good stuff. And we'll wipe off any excess. And so I've gone on ahead and hit the sprockets. I mean, just that little bit of effort with my finger just makes those guys spin beautifully. Okay, so we can go over what we've done. We have replaced the rear tire. We have replaced the front tire. We have gone on ahead and cleaned and lubed the chain with a chain wax that will seal up this chain, so it'll be good for the Burning Man. We have lubed all the sprockets. We have lubed all the joints in here with Tri-Flow. This is a really, really effective lubricant. We've gone on ahead and lubed these guys up. We've adjusted the springs so that after you let off the brake, the tire is perfectly free. Everything is lubed up at this point. We are not going to break down our bearings in the front because, again, this is a new bicycle. It probably has 20 miles on it. It's just not that well used at the moment. My wife plans on using it a bunch more. It's a really, really, as far as I'm concerned, a truly nice bicycle. This thing is well done. It's just, the welds look good. The pieces all seem to be quality. The only thing I'm going to do here now is I'm going to put a little bit of lube into the pedals. And again, this stuff is very liquidy. And it will spread itself very nicely through the pedals. Same thing on this side. We'll get a little lube in there. And that'll absorb nicely in. Okay. And every single joint on this thing has been lubed up that needs to be. Okay, so we've lubricated the pedals. We have lubricated all the joints in the brakes, all 4 of them. We have changed our tires. We have gone through and looked at everything. We've washed it, cleaned it. Our chain is in perfect condition now. I mean, it is so smooth. I mean, just remarkably smooth. Our brakes are adjusted properly. Now, when it comes to brake adjustment, you got to get the levers to only move so far. You don't want them to be you don't want them touching, but you don't want them to be too close. At least, for initially, if you find that you want your brakes to be a little bit more touchy, you can adjust the cable, and we'll adjust this cable just a little bit. And the brake will activate just a bit sooner. And that's about right. So it moves about an inch. Same thing with the front, and that's pretty much all you need. So that's what it takes to service a bicycle. And one more time, we changed the tires on it. We lubricated things. We checked all the cables. We've gone on ahead and cleaned the chain, and we've gone on ahead and lubricated the chain. Everything is lubed. All the joints that move have all been lubed. The bicycle is now ready for Burning Man. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll see you next time here on GearHeadGeeks.